So we can get started. Welcome back, everyone. We haven't met, I think, in about 5 weeks. So, a lot has transpired. We were just talking about the vaccines. That's probably number one on everybody's mind. But that is the biggest news, clearly, in this world, and a lot of positive news that is trending in the right direction, and for everybody personally, and of course, it has a big impact on the travel industry and on your rentals. So we had a story, Joan passed along, that one owner was unfortunately not able to make tonight's meeting, but she said she was excited to be able to miss this meeting because she said she was going to go visit her daughter and be able to have dinner with her daughter and hug her grandkids for the first time. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of stories like that. And hopefully, if you have not had your opportunity to do that, if you've been stuck in a situation where you have not been able to visit family, hopefully that's coming soon. I think it will be coming soon for a lot of folks. So let's keep trending in the right direction. What we're going to do tonight is similar to our previous meetings. We have some updates. We're going to go through a bunch of stats. So I'm going to upload a presentation here to share it with all of you. There we go. So we're going to go review some of the statistics and updates on the mass travel guidelines. Whoops, too far. And just go over a couple other miscellaneous items from our newsletter, and then open it up to a Q&A from everybody on the call. If you haven't checked out the latest blog post we posted on Monday, there's some stats here that I'm going to highlight. And many of you are probably not going to be surprised at these numbers, but the trends that we've been seeing ever since last summer into the fall, we've been reporting through the early parts of the winter. Bookings are hitting our record numbers through our history here. So we've seen it is 2 times for the Cape and Islands. It's 2 times up over the bookings, and that's measured by the bookings to date. So the first week of March is what we're looking at. So I'll show you some availability. Our availability numbers are low at this point. So vacationers are going to be, some vacationers may struggle to find something that or at least their ideal listing. So, we'll get into some of the tips that we're going to give to some of our vacationers to help find available homes. But these numbers certainly are positive. Hopefully you have benefited from the surge in bookings over the first few months of the year here. If not, like I said, I wouldn't be worried. The traffic, and I'll show you here, the traffic is on an upward trend still. So the demand is here. And the vacationers, while we normally see a peak in January, the vacationers ever since the beginning of February, we've seen this upward trend. I can tell you, if I was to do March this week, the numbers would be even higher this week. I was asked, is this trend going to continue? Is this demand going to continue? Like every week I say, how can it get higher? You're right. I don't believe it's going to remain at these peak levels throughout the year. It just can't. But you can see the trend line is above all the previous 5 years. So even if it comes down from these peak March numbers, you're still looking at high demand and high volume. And knowing that the 2 biggest months of the year that we typically see on the site are January and July, there's still going to be those vacationers that are still undecided about, are they traveling anywhere? And so if you even do have openings all the way up into June and July, I still think the bookings are going to be there throughout. It's not like vacationers are still not going to be looking to get away last minute. So I think it's going to be clearly it's a strong year already, and for everybody, you should have successful seasons as well. I'm going to show you a chart next here on the availability. So we showed this last summer as well, and our availability last summer got down below these levels. But right now, here we are, early stages of March, and the peak summer weeks are down to near 10% availability. And so what we've been telling our vacationers, if they're struggling to find something in those peak weeks, is of course to look at the bookends. Look at the last week of June, look at the last couple weeks of August, where you'll find more availability. Many of you probably talk about that last week of August. It's just, in a year like this year, it's no different from previous years. It's at the tail end of the summer. It's going to, if you're going to pick a week that's going to go last, that week will go last. And so we've talked about strategies trying to fit somebody into there. It's certainly not going to go for the price that your peak weeks will go for. Again, if you have availability in any of your weeks, the demand certainly should help fill those in due time. We've also looked at the off-season weeks, and I just narrowed this down to May and June. Certainly, there's a lot more availability in these weeks. Just clearly, the weather hasn't turned completely, but you'll start to see the downward trend as well as you get into June. I would expect that Memorial Day is going to be a very big weekend, if not week, this year. For any of you that are undecided about whether you're getting your rentals ready in advance, some of you don't get them ready until end of June, but the demand there is still going to be high. I've even seen a lot of activity for April vacation week. So again, if your house is available and you're interested, you may find folks looking to get away for April school vacation or for long weekends during the spring. So we'll continue to monitor these numbers as well. So enough on the numbers. The other news that came out this week, Governor Baker changes to the travel policy, changes to quarantine requirements. And I believe these numbers or these requirements, they're going to constantly change. Baker has said, they're not going to rush to open up everything, of course, do it in stages. And so we're still dealing with a travel policy where there are a list of low-risk states. I believe it really doesn't, I'm sure you're not having many vacationers coming from Missouri, Oregon, or Washington right now, but those are 3 of the states. I think Hawaii and Puerto Rico are the others. So what's going to happen, by the time we reach the summer, if we continue with this trend, I would expect that the Northeast, where majority of your vacationers come from, is going to open up to what it was last year, where the quarantine requirement to enter Massachusetts is unlikely to be there. It's not set in stone, but again, if the numbers continue this way, I would imagine that that'll be one less concern for your vacationers coming from outside of Massachusetts, that there's this quarantine requirement, proof of a negative test. The same thing goes for now that we have the vaccination in place and many people are getting vaccinated. Those that are fully vaccinated, they too can bypass this travel policy. And so I think it's about 14 days past. Joan, you had it. Do you remember?
The 14 days past the date of your second vaccination, you are free to come and go as you please, and you will also receive a card from wherever you get the vaccine that you can show to anyone as proof that you have been vaccinated. It has the date and such. So we were advised to take a picture of it so we'd have it on our phone in case we lost it, which we probably will.
The same thing goes for last year. Again, we state these requirements just in case. We have them up on our website. If a vacationer asks you, you can direct them to, you can have the answer yourself, or you could direct them to our website for this answer, or to the Mass travel site, which is linked to from our site. And your requirement, you do not need to get proof of vaccination. You do not need to get proof of a negative test or anything like that. It's just your job is just to, if they're coming from out of state, just to let them know of the travel policy. On top of the fully vaccinated persons that are exempt from the quarantine requirement, the CDC came out with guidelines that are going to greatly help our potential guests here, in that somebody that is fully vaccinated is advised that they can safely be under one roof with another family. So you can imagine that if you have extended families that often come to your rental, they can now do so in a safe way. Maybe you had folks that had to cancel last year. Maybe only one family came instead of the extended family. Now you can envision grandparents are going to be able to come with their grandkids and their families under one roof, even if the whole family's not vaccinated. If as long as the family doesn't have any high risk people in the group, that can be safely done. So I think that's just added to this increase in demand that we're seeing here in March, is that you have the vaccines rolling out, you have the CDC guidelines that are coming out, positive trends. That's all leading to kind of this demand, and you get a day like today where people start to see the close to 70 degrees. I think the word that I would like to use is anticipation. A lot of our guests are anticipating the summer. A lot of us are just anticipating the spring, let alone the summer, but they're anticipating every time you plan a vacation. That's one of the more exciting parts, the anticipation of getting away. Anticipation of getting back to your rental if they were able to go last year. They can't wait to get that again, because that was probably one of the highlights of a really challenging year. So we're going to continue the ongoing guidance. We will continue to update our site. We have a COVID guidelines link right on our homepage for our vacationers that they are checking out constantly. If you have questions, you can always direct vacationers there. We're going to be promoting these guidelines. We're going to be promoting tips and how to vacation responsibly throughout the year. I think we're going to start to turn our attention to that as we get into the end of the spring and summer seasons. We'll provide our guidance to vacationers.
I just wanted to add that homeowners, as Jim says, you can access this information for you guys as well, and it's in your homeowner center. I'm sure by now you guys have seen that. I think it's a bright orange box right in your homeowner center that links right to our COVID page, and there's a news feed that we keep updated every time we get an update from Governor Baker's office. That's where it's going to be. So if you're wondering, you can go to the vacationer one, as Jim says, from our homepage, but there's also one for homeowners that's linked to from your homeowner center.
Right. Those will both be in the wrap-up email that we'll send out after.
Jim, I might add too that, and this is something I just thought of when you were talking about the increased optimism regarding the summer and opening up more. I think we may see more of a trend or more desire for people to book larger homes. Generally, that interest goes down as people, as the spring and the summer approaches, because people have made their plans, especially if there are multiple families. But there may have been some families that have held off until now, and seeing the trends move in a positive direction might spur them on to inquire about larger homes. So if you have a larger home and you still have some vacancies, you probably will get real interest in it.
Indeed. All right, Beta, you got one slide here on.
Yep. I just wanted to give a little shout out to our monthly newsletter. The March newsletter went out last Sunday. I don't know if that goes right into your spam or junk folder, or hopefully not. But if you didn't take a look at it, I just wanted to highlight not every one of the topics we discussed, but the lead topic this month was called the Now Vacationer. So it's kind of the importance of getting to know who your guests are and what they're looking for. And basically, I kind of have 3 Ps. They're looking for prompt the expectations from them are that you are prompt, you're professional, and you are personal. That their interchange with you is as prompt as possible, where we say this at every meeting and all the time, the importance of responding quickly, of course, not just initially, but throughout your communication with them. Professional, just, try to use your templates and be as professional as you can in your dealings with them. And, that personal connection obviously is something we've said for years, how strongly we feel about that. So you might want to just take a look at that article in the newsletter. The next one we talked about was the value of social media. And believe me, I am no guru about social media, but I do know how important it is. I do appreciate the value of it. Taking your listing and promoting it on social, if you're at all involved with Facebook, Pinterest, or Instagram, it's free. It's a very simple, easy thing for you to do, and it can really take your listing and just give it legs. Just amazing. A couple of people like your kids that you might share it with, they share it, and it really can make a big difference and bring you bookings. So just wanted to underscore that. And finally, along those lines, we have just rolled out our marketing team has just rolled out a new, It's called the exposure package. It's a new feature that we offer, providing social media, using social media in a way, excuse me, it is fee-based, but it is a great way to give your listing a really nice bump if you need it. This is a year, unfortunately, it's a bad year to roll it out because hopefully most of you don't need it, but it's just something for you to know about. If you're having a particular week that's kind of sluggish, you're having, or a few weeks that you still have open, maybe not right now, but in the months to come, if for any reason you still have something open, just give us a call or an email, and we'll give you some information about that. So I don't want to talk anymore. I could get going about the newsletter, but I hope you do take a look at them when we send them out once a month. Otherwise, we want to get to the Q&A, so I'll turn it back to Jim.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to just that, the Q&A. For those that have not attended, we're going to do the raise hand approach to identify who has a question. You should be able to, well, I should say, some people have struggled to find it, so hopefully these screenshots are accurate. If you do not see raise hand at the bottom of your participants list, then you can always chat your question or chat that you have a question, and we'll see you and we'll call on you. So I'm going to stop the share here.
We have $6,000 burning a hole in our collective pockets here. We'd like
All right.
doing the category.
I think I have TV in the background. It's this. All right. So if anyone has any questions, here we go. Greg, I will. You are unmuted. You can unmute yourself. So Greg, if you got a question, go right ahead.
Not really a question, but I just want to tell you folks how useful your booking management tool has been for me, because with the advent of the lodging tax, these stupid forms you have to fill out for the DOR, you have to aggregate the rentals amounts, how much has been tendered by a booking agency or broker or another service that may book your property. And what I'm doing is I'm taking a lot more notes with each tenant now, including the exact amount of tax that I calculated and who's paying it and all that business. And before I used to have a folder that got dog-eared by the end of the reporting because I was looking up information within the specific part of the folder that was involved with the tenant. Now I have it all under one umbrella under the booking management. And if you haven't used it, I encourage you to do so because I've had very good luck with it.
Glad to hear that, Greg. Glad you're finding some use out of it. We certainly like to hear homeowners making good use of it. We do find it a valuable product. That being said, it has not received it serves its purpose in terms of organizing and your records. We are going to be looking in the next, I'm not sure the exact time frame, next 6-9 months or so, we will give it a facelift. And if there are features that you're looking for that you do not see, or anybody else that's using it, feel free to send us a note about other features that you're looking for, or other information that you're looking to collect. We certainly will be adding some updates to the booking management system in the coming year.
I'm so glad you said something, Greg, because I don't know how people get along without it. Maybe they have some other things, but having it online that I can access from my phone when I'm at the house in the middle of a turnover and I can't remember the people's names or if they brought a dog or kid or whatever, I just think it's awesome. I think so many people don't even know about it.
I have one more question to ask that sort of supplements this. Do people keep track of who actually is in the house? Do you get a manifest from your tenants as to the names and ages of the tenants? I know it seems a little intrusive, but with the issue of the exemption from lead paint that you have to have, the form that the Commonwealth of Mass requires, the identity of people is not on that form, but the number of people under 6 years of age has to be triggers that form for the tenant to sign. And I'm just wondering whether it makes sense to try to get as either part of the booking process or prior to actual occupancy, getting a list of the people that will be at the house.
First of all, Greg, My understanding was that the lead paint issue doesn't come into effect until they are guests in your home for 32 days or more, because they are short-term rentals are not affected by the lead paint law from everything that I have seen. I can look into that and get back to you on that. But
Sure.
the other thing is that there are some people who, there might be some among you, who do ask for the name and of every person who's going to be in the house as guests in a given party. Some homeowners even ask for the license plate numbers of the cars that will be arriving. It's totally up to you. It is probably a good safety feature, or just for your own acknowledgement. And I think, if they're, certainly last summer, it was we had very different reasons for recording the names of people, because we were doing a lot of contact tracing, or potentially could. We really didn't know of anyone who had to do it, but I think in general, people are certainly, it's not too invasive. Someone is going to be in your private home. You deserve to know who they are. So if someone refuses, if a party refuses to give you their names, I think, you might want to think twice about that. It's certainly not a requirement. We haven't really stressed it in the past, but it's something that you could certainly consider. I know.
I was sort of remembering that it was a requirement last summer, wasn't it, from the state?
Well, maybe it was because of, yes.
Because of the contact tracing.
Yes, but in general, it certainly is not a requirement. I do know that there are some homeowners who have a home that's like right on the beach, and the homeowners rightly are concerned that some of their guests will, arrive and see what a great setting it is, and then invite, their Uncle Sam and their cousins and their friends, and, come and stay here and have a party. And so it's not a bad thing to do, and I don't think it's invasive or intrusive. I don't know how much.
There are a lot of comments, folks chatting, saying they do just that. So I think it is a common request from homeowners. All right, thanks, Greg. Go to Lisa. You're unmuted. Are you unmuted? You're unmuted.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Lisa.
So last year there was a concern of touch points in the house, and my question is, how do people feel about bringing back the old-fashioned welcome book, which I love, and pillows and bedspreads?
I got that question just today from someone. Wasn't you, was it, Lisa?
No, it wasn't. Like-minded.
She was asked, she said last year she had her guests bring everything, including their own pillows, and she was thinking of adding the pillows back in. And my response to her was, if you want to continue to ask them to bring their linens and towels, that's fine, but I think most people are leaving mattress pads, blankets, bedspreads, pillows, all of that. And we've said before that we know a great deal more about the virus now, and we know that it is spread mostly by human to human, not by touching books or games or blanket, or so I think there's much less emphasis on that this summer. You agree?
The welcome book is back. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's
I would
great.
also,
With some right reviews in it.
Yes. Yes, and in the guest book. Yes.
I would also add that I think we talked about this last summer too, that what happened is because a lot of people took things out of their rentals, they decluttered it. They took away things that maybe they weren't necessary. but they never really knew they weren't necessary. And all of a sudden they said, wow, look at it, it opens up for a guest. Maybe it doesn't make it as personal for me as a homeowner, but for my guests, they appreciated just a decluttered environment. And so you don't have to put everything back. If you did take away, an entire library of books, yeah, sure, put your games back, put your guest book back, put things back that really make your guests enjoy their stay. But you certainly, if you see that same result of decluttering, then keep some of that. I think your guests will appreciate it.
That's great. Great information. Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, go up to Carolyn next. You can.
I was just going to say, if you're going to update the booking management page, that the one thing that I would love is if we could export the information to a Google Calendar. We have a family Google Calendar that everybody can access, and it's very helpful to have the tenant's name and some other information in the Google. I end up transposing everything by hand and blocking in the days that they're there and the cleaning people and blah, blah, all that. But it would be really great to be able to export that to a different calendar.
Okay. We are working on a process to export your calendars that could be synced up with whether it's another system or a Google. You can import it into Google Calendar. I will have to check to see, can that same information pull across guest name and other information that you're storing in booking management, but definitely a good suggestion, Carolyn. Thank you. All right, Tina, you're up next.
I was one of those people who was practically in tears when I had to take away my cute pillows and all of that stuff. And then when I looked back at it, I was like, this is much better. But one of the things that came up was I took away all the scatter rugs and hadn't really realized how much of a safety issue those were. So they were gone. I have these beautiful wood floors, and I had, rugs at the foot of the bed and in the hallway and all of this stuff, and hadn't really thought about people slipping and sliding. So those will stay gone, even though they're still really cute. But I'm going to put back some of the more fun stuff, but not all of it, because you're right. You got to look at it from a different perspective, and it's pretty eye-opening.
Mhm. Your cleaning crew will appreciate it too.
Absolutely.
Makes it a lot easier to clean a house.
Yeah. And on that note, anybody got tips for getting guests to accurately let you know, or let your cleaning crew know, which beds they didn't use? We've tried laminated cards. We've tried roll back the spreads. We've tried leave the linens. I don't provide linens, but I do have coverlets and blankets. And it's always sort of kind of a crapshoot. Which bed was this really slept in, or did they just sit on it? And I wonder if anybody has any creative ideas.
Whoa.
I think you kind of got to treat them all like they've all been slept on, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's what we
Most
end
of
up.
the time they have too.
I know, yeah. And then the ones they tell you they didn't sleep on, and then you pull the spread back and go, yeah.
A little sand in here.
Yeah, a little something.
And it's just not worth the risk for the next people, that's
Exactly, yeah. For the little time it does take, since we don't provide the sheets, it's a
And then
matter
you
of,
just have confidence that every bed was
yeah,
dealt with.
that's what we've been doing. So I guess we're okay.
Yeah.
I think you are.
All right, thanks, Tina. If there's anybody else who has questions, feel free to raise your hand or chat away in the chat. We'll see you there if you're having trouble finding the raise hand option. Joan, anything about last summer? We had all the guidance. We had the cleaning checklist. We had the contact tracing. Does all that still hold for this year until further notice?
Yeah, I think it does. And that was another question I got today from a homeowner was, what about the cleaning protocol? I think that regardless of what happens, regardless of where the status of the pandemic this summer, I think that there will continue to be an enhanced, heightened awareness and concern about cleanliness. And that may be here to stay. I think we all feel we've been trained after a year to just sanitize our hands and just, I think people are just more concerned walking into a home, knowing that it is clean, pristine, has been sanitized. So I think that although the guidelines might be loosened a little bit in terms of disinfectant of every single surface of the house, you know, but I think that there will still be, I think we all have to be cognizant of the cleaning efforts and to just make sure it's as pristine as we can make it. And, you know, I know we're all paying more for the cleaning, and that too might be here to stay. I don't see that changing significantly.
And speaking of cleaning, I see a question here from Jessica, who's a first-time renter out in Truro, looking for a cleaner. And so, Jessica, the one thing I could say for you is just, we do have a Facebook community group that is oftentimes a common question. So if I recommend you find the Facebook community group, and I'm sure you'll find other Outer Cape homeowners that will have some recommendations on house cleaners. And we also have a cleaning directory or homeowner services directory on our website. You'll find a list of cleaners on there as well that you can check out. I see Jay has his hand raised, so let me go to Jay.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Jay.
How you doing, Jim and Joan?
Hi, Jay.
What I've done last year is I prepared a box for my guests. In the box had their roll of paper towels, 2 rolls of toilet paper, 1 for each bathroom, some handy wipes, a sponge, a bottle of disinfectant, a bottle of hand sanitizer, a box of Kleenex, and a pump hand soap. And what I did is I put numbers on it depending on the guests, and I sealed them up, and I put them in one of the rooms in a corner and just stacked them up. And when a guest was checking in, or in the welcome information packet I was sending, I was telling them, we have this box for you for your safety and for, you know, your use. It's numbered. This is your number. Feel free to use it. At the end, please take it with you. Do not leave it. It's, you know, for you, you know, help you for, you know, keeping everything clean and safe. And we're planning on doing the same this year. And we're finding out I'll probably continue to do this in the coming years. Maybe not with all the hand sanitizer and everything else, but it solves the problem of my cleaners at times forgetting to put out a roll of toilet tissue for everyone, a new roll of paper towels, etc. And it's all there, it's all done, and I don't have to worry about my cleaning crew, which the cleaning people might have different people that come during the week and they forget to go to the owner's closet and take it out. So that's what I'm doing. The other thing, what I like on the that homeowners you know, portal tracking thing, is I like some more areas on the bottom that I can customize, and so I can track some other things. You only have 2 right now. I like to see up it to a total of about 6, because I can really utilize it, because when I'm collecting things, I want to be able to break apart my first payment, my second payment, and, you know, be able to do that so I can do my checks on that.
That's certainly something that we will look at. It shouldn't be hard to duplicate those miscellaneous fields and make them customizable for you. The 2 that are there, we could certainly add some others.
And I guess the other question I have real quick is in processing the tax, I haven't had any people yet from VRBO, where VRBO is paid the tax. For this coming season, they are. So so from what my understanding is, now we have to record that in when we submit our tax form, saying that someone else is collecting it that's not in that non-received box. Is that correct?
Are you still talking about booking management?
No,
Jay?
I'm talking about the Massachusetts lodging.
Oh, the Department of Revenue?
Yes.
I would think, I mean, your, another website has your certificate number, knows where, and so they would submit it. I think that when you go to remit the tax for the weeks that you've booked through us, that would be the amount that you would indicate you collected.
So I don't have to report the other, is what I.
No, because if you put in, let's say you put in $10,000, I suppose that the next field is how much of that is taxable, I
Well, the
suppose.
next field is the exempt amount. So,
Okay.
and I'm just hoping that I don't have to be recording that in because the
Yeah.
other
I
company.
think
Edit.
that you just record what you need to for the purposes of your guests from our website.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Jay. Greg, do you have a comment on this or something else?
Yeah, it's specifically on this. You have to report your gross rents, but you only pay for that portion which you collected specifically. Notwithstanding the fact that the other websites may have your registration number, that's how it's linked into your reporting of your gross rents. So you're not limited to just what you do. It's what your rental does for the entire month.
Okay, that's different than what I thought. Okay.
That's why I use the booking management, because I enter into my booking management matrix those rentals that I do through third-party websites like VRBO, and put in my notes what I receive for net rent from that rental, so I can have that information available when I do my monthly report.
Mhm. Well,
That's it.
thanks for that information, Greg.
All right. Any other questions here? Feel free to. There we go, Carolyn.
I don't remember this, but somebody made a comment on it in the chat. We have a very strict no pet policy at the house. And I'm just amazed at how many people contact me and say, oh, but my pet is blah, 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 and I own 2 dogs. We fed cats and gerbils and lizards and the whole thing. But I mean, I don't know if there's some way to like emphasize it a little stronger, which houses allow pets and which houses do not allow pets. Because I'm always amazed by people who contact me and,
I think unfortunately, just given the demands and the how vacationers are going to struggle sometimes to find this year more so than others a home that meets their requirements. Homes that do allow pets are in high demand, and so I just think some vacationers just say maybe this homeowner, even though they don't have it on there, will accept my always well-behaved dog. I mean, who says they don't have a well-behaved dog trying to rent your home?
Well, it very clearly says on my listing that I do not accept pets, period.
Understand.
Another thing you could do is in your description, very clearly in a prominent place, say, sorry, but no pets due to family allergies or something like that, where someone is not going to think, well, it says no pets, but I'm going to just ask because my pet is exceptional. Jim, Kathleen? Giesel is raising her hand.
Okay. Kathleen, can you unmute yourself?
All right, okay. Yeah, I don't know how to do the little hand there.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm the one that wrote in about that too. My request is that you possibly put it a more prominent location on your website, pet friendly or not or no pets or whatever. Because when I looked at my listing, it didn't show no pets down until the in the amenities, and I have it in the description very, very clearly in a prominent place.
Mhm.
Absolutely no pets due to owner allergy and repeat tenant allergy. But
Yes.
so I just think it would be, helpful if it could be just somewhere like a little bar, a little something that showed, pet friendly, not pet friendly or something. Maybe it would help streamline.
Mhm.
Because we get the same thing. We have two very well behaved, I'm certain they're lovely animals, but we don't want to deal with it.
So despite the fact that you have that statement, you're still getting.
We have it, when you can look it out, it's pretty prominent.
Mhm.
And so my request is that you just put a little tag somewhere that, on a high level that people might see,
Mhm.
pet policy or something,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
We can take a look. It's a tricky one because we always say not just this pet issue, but if there are other questions that you get asked from vacationers that clearly are answered in your listing and they don't read, right? They're just
they don't.
a lot of times vacationers just don't read, whether it's
They don't read. And so, I've taken your advice and I have a lot of templates made up. So I take my no pet policy and I throw that in my response or my, exceeds number of people and I throw that in, but people just either ask and hope there's a possibility or whatever. But I was just thinking if there was some way you could put something at a higher level, it might be helpful.
We'll take a look. I'll take a look also. I mean, I know that one of the more popular searches on the site is using that amenity. Pets considered is one of the amenity options, which would ideally remove your listing because you're not pets considered. That being said, clearly they're finding it without running a pets considered based search. So maybe we look at the search.
Well, we also get requests for more people than we say too, or the number of people, sleep so many, we get requests for more. I understand.
I think it's just, again, it's in that case,
human nature,
similar.
but I was just thinking if there was some way to highlight it, it might be helpful.
Yeah.
Understand.
I just remember years ago, a vacationer asking us if we thought that they would be able to bring their well-behaved pig on vacation with them. I politely said I didn't think so. They said they're really cleaner than a dog. So
I have to tell you that we also have a home in Bonita Beach, Florida that we rent, and with the exact same wording, strict no pet, whatever, and we get probably more inquiries for them. And the one we got this year, which was they wanted to bring their well-behaved parrot. Carrot.
Wasn't that pig a pork-bellied pig, Joe?
It was a Vietnamese pig.
Vietnamese pork-bellied pig.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a couple other hands here. I'm just going to move on. Unmesh, you're up here.
I wanted to ask that if your lease specifically says how much is the rent and then cleaning fee, deposit, am I responsible for paying the taxes on the cleaning fee?
The cleaning fee? Yes.
Yeah.
That is taxable.
Okay.
But the vacationers pay the tax, not you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But that's what I meant because I wanted to
part of the gross rent.
Right. I need to be able to show as a rent, not the deposit, but the.
Any fees, any non-refundable fees are taxable.
taxable. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Franklin Sang, I think, has this
Yeah.
hand up.
Who, Franklin? Okay.
I want to know, are we supposed to submit our DOR taxes at the end of each month this year? Last year was September. They postponed it to September.
Last year, they actually postponed it twice, and the second time they postponed it until this May 20th. So if anyone still has taxes that they forgot to pay from last summer, they can still pay them by May 20th without any penalties. But normally, and this summer, the tax will be due on the 20th of the month following their departure. So if you have, let's say, 3 guests departing in July, their tax would all be due by August 20th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
I
yes,
see
Joe?
Jeanette is raising her hand.
Okay, and then I have a couple other hands after that. So Jeanette?
Okay. Jeanette? You have to unmute.
I think that just got changed to the 30th. I was looking on something yesterday or today on the Mass
30th.
DOR.
The 30th of what month?
Instead of the 20th, the 30th of
Really?
the following month.
Oh.
Look, you can check on the Mass DOR web's information stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Well, we'll let you know if there's a change. Good to know.
All right, I have, I'm sorry, I don't know your first name, HR Sullivan as your handle.
Let me see. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
It's Helen. I don't know.
Helen.
Helen.
But anyways.
I don't remember that.
I have an idea what you could do about the pets. You could have where the picture is of the house, you could have a paw print. A big paw print like on the corner and with a round X.
Yeah.
And then people could see without reading anything. They'll say, oh, this has pets, this doesn't. And I think
it's a good idea. Good idea. That's great.
A lot of things that we try to do is, sometimes we don't know the answer, right? And so we just have to experiment with things, or we try how something works and see how our user base reacts. And so we can certainly take a look to see what sort of adjustments can be made.
The fact is, we have a search that allows people who have pets to search by pet-friendly homes, but they're so desperate to bring their dog or whatever it is that they kind of blow through that, and maybe they'll make an exception. And, I saw in the chat room, and a lot of us make exceptions, say we don't accept pets, and then we do relent. So I think that's why a lot of vacationers, even if we have it in 5 different places on our listing, will still ask. It's just the way that it's just human nature.
I got another, Cynthia, your hand is up. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's everybody? Thanks again for having these webinars.
You bet.
Just listening to what everyone's saying about the pets. I think I'm going to use a suggestion in my description of the property. I'm going to put down no pets due to allergies, because I know one time someone had asked if I do have pets in there because her daughter was extremely allergic. So you're hoping that people will do the right thing and don't bring their pets. That's number one. Secondly, I get all of these inquiries, these views. Then when I get an inquiry, oh, please tell me, is it available? And I'm saying, why ask me is available and I have it open? But anyway, sometimes people don't update their calendar.
Right.
But yeah, I answer them, yes, it's available, blah, 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 blah. Let me know if you're interested. And then you don't hear anything. So then what I did a few times, and I'm not going to do it again, I'll follow up, just following up, are you still interested in the property? And you don't hear anything again. So my question to everyone, should I just, if I get an inquiry, just leave it alone? Or should I continue to follow up? Because it gets a little annoying. Help.
Well, I would I would just respond to their questions, their inquiry.
Mhm.
Yes, it's available. There are, do you have any questions for me? Put it back in their court, but they may be, looking at others at the same time. I would, especially this year, the interest is so high. I would
It
just
is. It
move
is.
on and forget it. If they said, we're really interested, send a lease and you didn't hear back from them, then that's another story. But if they just inquire, I would just respond once and then just, move on to the next one. Because people do, inquire about several homes and.
Right.
um,
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can also, if you do get a phone number, and aren't getting a response from a vacationer, you do get the phone number from them. We're not hiding a phone number if a vacationer provides it. So you can always pick up the phone and give the vacationer a call just to close the loop and see if they still are interested or not. Just one last effort. We looked this up earlier today and saw that it's not a required field. Vacationers, when they inquire with your homes, do not have to provide a phone number, but 70% of the inquiries that have been sent this year do pass on that phone number, their phone number.
Right.
So we find that very valuable. It allows you for direct connection. If you want to call them immediately, or if you haven't heard back via email, you can do so. And then related to some of the information in the chat, we find that the phone number being useful to help vet a guest. Just useful information about who your prospective inquirer is.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One other note, I see a question here just regarding the pets. We have 24% of the active listings right now do accept pets. So they are in the minority, and you can see why homes that do accept pets are in high demand. There are not many of them, there's only about a quarter of them that do accept pets. So we have often talked about that as a way that if you are willing to accept a pet, then you might gain a boost in terms of your visibility. It is a tough ask, though, for some. All right, one more hand here, Brian.
Hi, everyone. Just want to mention that 75% of our guests this summer are going to be bringing pets. And during the phone screen, when we talk with the guests, we have very specific questions about their dogs, or in one case, a cat. And we're very clear about the accountability and liability for any damage. And we even go so far as to say, if there's any evidence of pets upon your departure, the damage deposit will be used, to cover the additional cleaning fees or any damage to furniture or so on.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got very specific language in the lease. We talked during the phone interview, and so far the guests have been very forthcoming in terms of being willing to absorb an additional charge or having the damage deposit be used. Are there any other suggestions or recommendations that you can offer? Because you're absolutely right. Guests and families are very, very attached to their pets, and it's interesting, if they leave a dog behind, they're going to be paying very expensive kennel fees anyway.
Sure.
I think they're very amenable to extra charges.
Yeah. Well, it's like, for some, it's like leaving a child behind. They wouldn't even consider it. And we've had some homeowners who have told us that they find pets much easier on the house than children. They'd rather have a dog there than children. So, and it sounds like you've successfully had pets there before in the past, and so I think whatever you're doing is good. There are some people who will ask for indication that the pet has been it's been so long since I've had a dog. What do you get tested for if you're a dog before you go on vacation? Brian, do you know?
Bordella.
For what?
Bordella. Like that border, there's a border vaccination they can get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you send that via chat? I couldn't hear what that suggestion was.
Can I ask a question about the dogs?
Well,
What
wait, Brian had this question about what does anyone know? I mean, there's kennel cough is something, I think there are just, some people will ask for some verification that the dog has had their, maybe it's a rabies shot. I don't know. I mean, help me out here, dog-friendly people.
Well, it's usually the rabies one, and the most one is the front line, or the tick and
Oh,
flea one.
that's it.
Do not
Yes,
want to
the
have fleas
flea.
in your house.
Yes,
You know?
that's it. The front line, or the,
You
know.
have to have them prove that they've been treated, because
Yeah.
we have a couple of blog posts on our homeowner blog about pets.
Yeah, Brian,
Brian,
I'll send you those blog posts.
Great, thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah, and tick preventative, somebody mentioned, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Cynthia, did you have one more question about?
Yeah, I was just my I've always had dogs. My little dog, he's in doggy heaven now, and I do miss him. I have a lot of family that have dogs, but I just said no dogs. But my concern now is liability. Now, in my property, it's not gated. I do have a deck that, I mean, a huge dog will not probably jump over. But what about liability? Say if someone's dog bites one of the neighbors, would you be liable to that? Would that go against your insurance, or would that be something with the renter? I'm curious about that.
Beta, you might know about that, do you?
Well, I mean, everybody has a different lease. Some of the leases have different indemnify and hold harmless clauses. Greg or somebody wanted, an attorney on the site might, or on the call here, might answer that better. But yeah, I mean, I don't know the real legalities of it.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I think probably next year. I mean, we're doing pretty good with our rentals. But I may consider bringing dogs, because some of my family members, I tell them no, because the other renters that's coming, they may be allergic. So I wouldn't want to take a chance. But I might consider the dogs next year, but I have to really research that when it comes to any type of liabilities.
Sure.
In 25 years, we have never heard that there is. Now, that doesn't mean there absolutely isn't, but seems to me we might have heard if that were an issue. But consulting a lawyer is always the safest bet.
That's true. Thank you.
And any others?
Yeah, one more. Patty, I see your hand here. Or backup.
Unmute, Patty.
There you go. There we go.
There you go.
No, I was just gonna say with liability, some of the homeowners insurance, I think, wants to know what breeds like you might personally have. So you'd want to just be sure about that if you rent. They might not want, I'm just gonna say a Rottweiler or a pit bull. Because I think our homeowners insurance asked specifically what breed dog we had. So I don't know if a guest comes with another, breed that, they might consider more high risk. So you might want to check that. And I think with the dogs or cats, you just want to know that they're having, like you said, things preventatives for flea or ticks. It's not a guarantee they're not going to bring it into the house, but that would be probably the only thing that would be a concern.
I've said this before, but my biggest concern about pets, and I've always allowed dogs for years and years, is the skunks. It sounds like a funny thing, but if your dog or if their dog gets sprayed by a skunk, it will shut you down for the whole season.
I never thought about that. That's a good point.
My home's on the Vineyard, and all of you guys who have homes on the Vineyard know there's so many skunks on the Vineyard. We don't have coyotes, but we have skunks.
And the dogs
there.
So, Beta, you got a blog post to write how to deal with skunks.
Well, I've written it about how to deal with dogs. So.
Yes, exactly. We'll have that out shortly.
I just posted them on the chat room.
Tomorrow morning.
One more here, then we're gonna have to wrap up. I see, but I don't have a name. All I have is an iPhone, so you can sneak in your question here.
Mr. iPhone. You have to unmute.
I asked to unmute. There we go. If we, well, maybe they're on their iPhone, they can't hear us. All right. I feel free to contact us afterwards. Anything else? Or Joan, Beta, are we ready to wrap up?
So I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I guess, am I unmuted or?
Yes, you are. I can hear you.
Okay, my question is, in terms of, I guess, the schools starting maybe or later or earlier or whatever we know about that, but I know I have a repeat tenant that was looking to rent towards the end of August, but isn't quite certain about the schools. I don't know if people have if you have a feeling about that. I mean, do you think that the rental season might go longer?
It's going to be a little different. Last year, schools were delayed. Schools were delayed here in Massachusetts until mid-September. And so that definitely extended the season for families. I think this is going to scale back a little bit, but still, you're still talking about, like, I mean, look at the demand that we've had already for the peak season. I think that has to spread out to those that can sneak into the end of the summer, Labor Day, and the week after. It's still going to be higher than in previous years. I don't schools schools have set their schedules already. They're not going to shift again. So I think that families that are looking to plan, they know when their kids are going back to school if they have older kids preseason and stuff like that. So
do you think then that the schools might open earlier so that the last week of August might really be the next to last week of August in terms of?
I have little children in school, third grader and a sixth grader.
Okay.
It's not going to shift earlier. They can't do that.
Oh, okay.
But it will probably go back to that original week of starting, which is on or before Labor Day.
Okay.
That week,
I was
either
just
before
curious.
Labor Day. Yeah, I think things will be back on track in September or tail end of August.
Thank you.
yeah, and that's why you're seeing that. That's the week that is about 50% full at this point. It's at the end of the summer. You do not have families with elementary, even high school, especially high school that have preseason. They definitely can't take it. So private schools maybe start a little bit later. You might get families, but you might be focusing on a different target audience for your last week of August. And if you've been renting for a while, you probably know who the type of family that is coming to that week. I emphasizes again, each year, if you get a tenant in for that last week of August and they're a keeper, if they're somebody that might be coming year after year, you do whatever you can to seal the deal to get them to come back the next year. It's always hard to do, but it's like that's gold if you get somebody that loves that Labor Day week, the before or after.
Thank you.
All right, well, I think we're going to call this meeting. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. We're going to do it again in about a month, and I will also say you'll get an announcement probably next week about this. We're going to be starting up a new series as well about a couple other vacation rental features. We've been looking at a few products that various people have been using, and we're going to provide some advice on those services. So you're welcome to attend. They'll probably be, the next one is going to be in 2 weeks, on March 25th. So you'll get an announcement on that, and that's separate from this wide open Zoom meeting. So
thank you very much. Jim, of what wonderful. Can you give an example of what you're talking about? Because
well, the product, like it's a product that we're going to be talking about. It's called Minute. It's a noise aware product. So if you've had any familiarity with noise aware, or it does more than just monitor for noise and volume, but you're going to have to attend to learn more. But it's something that we're going to be looking to just provide a little more guidance on other amenities or other services to you as a homeowner can use for your homes to help you manage your rentals.
Yeah, I mean, it's not commercial. We're not promoting anything per se. I'm excited about it because we're going to look into topics that benefit all of us, that I think we're all kind of curious about. And to have an expert, not one of us, but somebody who really knows what they're talking about, some of these products that can really help our lives as managing a short-term vacation rental. I'm kind of excited about it.
So stay tuned for that next week. I'll send out the summary of this meeting in the video for anybody that had to leave early or not attend. And you'll hear from us again in about a month for this meeting. So thank you all.
Thank you
Thanks for
very much.
coming. See you in a
Thank
couple of
you.
weeks.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.